and I'm the ESC department chairperson. What that means very simply is that there are students that go to our schools, go to all schools, that have different type of disabilities that they have to learn how to work around so that they can be productive and they can do real well in school and in life in general. Some of the students that we have in our school have what's called autism or Asperger's. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of either one of those terms. Okay. Now, hands down. Now raise your hand if you know what it means to have autism or Asperger's. Thank you for the honesty. All right, I'm going to give you a very brief clip, and then the young man I'm going to introduce is going to tell you about his experiences being a young man with Asperger's syndrome. Autism, Asperger's are two things that are very much tied together. They're neurological in nature, which means it has to do with the way people are wired, the way we think, the way we do things. Somebody with Asperger's, the biggest challenge that they run into, and I gather that you'll probably hear that from what Jack's talking about, is having a hard time understanding the perceptions and intentions of other people. What that means, it's a very difficult time knowing why people do what they do. If I said to most of you, hey, that's a cool shirt, most of you would think that I'm talking about I like the style or the color or the design, but somebody with Asperger's may think you're talking about temperature. Cool, right? Two different things, same word, but understanding that. Right? Also, the social interactions. When you talk with your friends, we're constantly reading the body language of the people we're talking to. Right? You're looking at your friend you're talking to, they're making eye contact with you, you can see that they're happy if you're saying something nice, you can see a frown, you can see a not nice face if you said something not real nice. People that have Asperger's have a hard time picking up on that. Okay. So without going too much farther, let me give you a little bit of knowledge of what I know about Jack. He's in 7th grade, he goes to school at St. Andrews. He is a very creative young man, and he has that creative side of him. He's very much into theater or drama and music. And perhaps one day he's going to be one of the people that you go to a party and he's the DJ who's doing it. Right? That's possibly where he's going to wind up someday. So with that, I'm going to ask Jack to come up and to share his story with you.
Hello, my name is Jack Lucas. I'm 12 years old, and I'm local at home with my mom, my dad, my sister, and my 2 dogs. I'm in the 7th grade at St. Andrews School. Although I may seem like a typical Joe, I'm not your average kid. I'm differently and I think differently because my brain is wired in a special way. I've been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, or AS for short. It's not a disease, you can't catch it, and it can't be cured. It is a condition that I have and I will always have. It has given me some great strengths, but also some big challenges. One of the biggest challenges for people with AS is knowing how to behave in social situations. Because I do not always act like a typical kid, people think I'm weird or inappropriate. I once hurt someone's feelings because I told them that their house was smaller than the picture. I don't really care how big or small someone's house is. I was just commenting that it was different than the picture it to be. As you know, school is a very social place, and fitting in is very difficult for me. I've been tested, teased, picked on, and bullied. It's hard for me to understand why exactly some kids do this, but I know it's because I'm different. I tend to be very literal, and when someone tells me to do something, many times I'll do it. For example, a bunch of kids told me to lay on the floor, and I did that, and they laughed at me. I thought they were playing with me, but they were just making fun of me. There was also a time the kid told me to go kill myself. I started to, but then the teacher came by and stopped me before I really got myself. I'm here to talk to you today about being tolerant and accepting of people who are not the same as you. I don't try to be different. I didn't choose to have Asperger's. I'm also not sad that I have it. This is who I am. I wish having friends came more easily to me. For most of you, it comes naturally. I actually took a class to learn social skills and had to practice making phone calls and speaking to kids my age. It probably sounds odd to you, but simple things like that are very hard for me. My parents ask me all the time if I want to make plans to hang out with someone over the weekend. There are very few people I feel I can hang out with. Also, there are very few people who ask to hang out with me. So I spend most of my free days by myself. I don't mind being alone. I just know I'm not going to get better at being social in my house by myself. It makes me sad sometimes because I really want good friends and happiness when I feel included. There are some pretty famous people with Asperger's, such as Einstein, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bill Gates. I wonder if they were mistreated in school like I was. I spoke to my entire class last year in a special ceremony and told them how and why I was different. I did that in hopes I would be accepted by my classmates, and they would have a greater understanding about me. I told them that my brain is wired differently and I'm a little socially awkward. For example, I'm a young Da Vinci with drawing, but equipped with a squirrel and sports. After my talk, the teasing stopped and I was much more accepted. What also happened from that speech was that many parents contacted my mom and dad to thank them for teaching their child a lesson that no book could really teach. They said I taught them about tolerance and accepting of people who may think a person just weird or annoying. I made them think. That's why I'm speaking to you today. I hope I'm making you think too. I hope you think about the boy or girl that you think is weird or strange. Before you make fun of him or her or laugh at them, I hope you think about their feelings. You have choices. You can make that person feel badly to get a good laugh, or you can maybe get to know them. Maybe you could help them have friends so they don't have to feel alone. How long is it really fun when you pick on someone? Just take a moment to think about what life would be like if you had no friends and people made fun of you. I went to a party recently and some kids called me weird. I know I'm weird. I would like to be weird. I know I'm weird, but I already said that. But it still hurt my feelings with the way they said it. Things you say and the way you act can leave bigger scars on someone than physically hurting them. Some of you listening probably relate and have been bullied, teased, or felt unaccepted. The best advice I can offer you is that you have to like who you are. I certainly don't want to be bullied. It really hurts. But sometimes I remember that kids who bully probably have their own problems. They need to put you down to make themselves feel good. And I think that's a worse problem than being picked on. You shouldn't have to make someone feel bad or want to feel good. We're all different from one another, and I think that's great. How boring would this world be if we were all the same? I hope if I bump into you somewhere you won't make fun of me. I know I'm different, and I hope that maybe some of you will get to know me and maybe be my friend. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Jack. If anybody has questions, now is the time. Jack will answer the best he can. If I need to add to it, I will. If you have a question.
Guys, don't be shy. He's here to answer your questions. So I know some of you are kind of sitting there like, well, I don't really want to ask it, but he's here to answer your questions. So please ask.
And let me tell you what part of the reason as to why Jack is doing this compared to, why are other people, is that Jack wants to get better with interacting and socializing. All right, this is one of the ways, talking in front of many people. That'll help you learn.
Any comments?
Is there anything we can really do to like help people with AS?
Well, I can try a little harder if I need to.
From a medical perspective, there's no curing it. It's a disorder compared to a disease, like Jack mentioned. But there are different trainings, there's different programs, there's different ways that people can be taught to think and to go about doing things to be able to fit in a little bit more. One of the things that I believe Jack mentioned is that he's taking a social skills class. Over at Florida Atlantic University, they have a program called CARD, Center for Autism and Related Disorders. And they have a 14-week class. It's called PEERS, P-E-E-R-S. And it's to help the kids learn how to interact with others. So there's different things that can be done to help with the behavior, but nothing to cure it.
Do you think that the social class helped you at all?
Yeah, I'd say so.
In what ways?
Well, I wasn't that really good at talking to people. But I learned.
What were the activities you did in your social class?
Our homework was to call people, ask, hang out, get into a conversation.
So some of the things that may come real natural to other 6th, 7th, 8th graders, calling someone on the phone, saying you want to go to a movie, or want to get a juice or coffee or whatever it's going to be. your answer. He's got it. Well, one of the things to keep in mind is that one of the challenges with autism or Asperger's is that the level of difficulty has such a wide variation. That's why it's called a spectrum disorder. It can go from kids that are very, very low functioning to kids that are super, super bright. So, Jack obviously is more in this category, being able to hold himself and be academically intelligent, whereas some of the other kids are much lower. Just like on the spectrum, some of the kids are much more sensitive to sounds, to smells, to lighting, to proximity of people. We walk in the halls, all right, in between class changes, we're basically brushing up against people all the time. There's many kids that I've worked with, I don't know about Jack, that just bumping up against people are really good. So it really depends on each individual.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to listen to music and play video games. Who doesn't? Reggie and Charlie.
That's it.
Chocolate labradoodle and a regular labradoodle.
No?
Okay.
What are the types of music you like to listen to?
Electronic music, dance music.
Do you have any other disorders like ADHD or
That I can answer.
Yeah, he has Asperger's. Often, part of the symptoms could be that of ADHD, and yes, he's ADHD.
Oh,
Surprise! Well, what happens is that with kids on the spectrum is that many times they have comorbidity issues. And what that simply